Bass guitar. What was the attraction there?
I actually started on lead guitar, but when I was at school, basically, when we first started a band, I started on lead guitar, and then the bass player, there were four in the band, 2 guitars, bass and drums. The bass player left, so I thought, we went down to a trio and I played the bass. That's just simple as that, really.
Tell us a bit about the Birmingham scene when you were first starting out. Was it a productive music scene?
Yeah, there was. There were a lot of people going about, a lot of good bands came out of Birmingham. The first band that I ever was, still at school again, that I got into was with Denny Lane. Remember Denny Lane, who was with Paul McCartney for a time. Yeah. And I started a little band off with him, played for a few gigs, and then started my own band off with different people from a fellow that I was at school with.
Now, there was a band called the Cliftones in there somewhere, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was formed by our manager, who, basically, he had a big mansion out in the Midlands in the UK, and what he did was he took different people from different bands, and we all went to live at his mansion, in inverted commas, and we all worked out there. He had a string of ballrooms around the Midlands, and we all used to go around and play his ballrooms and get paid a few quid a week, basically.
Now, there's another group in there called the Merry Men that you were involved with?
Oh, God. Where are you digging this up from, John?
The internet's a wonderful thing.
Right. Yeah, that again was at this manager's place that we used to live at. It was called Clifton Hall, and we were asked to back this fella called Robbie Hood, and so we did. And yeah, it was quite embarrassing. Well, it is embarrassing when you look back, because we had to wear sackcloths and tights to back him up, But having said that, through that connection was how we got our first recording contract. 'Cause we had to go down to London to Decca to do backing vocals for this fella, this Robbie Hood, because Decca wanted him, or they were trying him out. But to cut a long story short, they liked his backing band and not particularly Robbie. So that's how we got our first recording contract.
Oh, right. Do you know whatever became of Robbie Hood?
I haven't got a clue.
No?
Not a clue, no.
When the fortunes got going, how intent were you on presenting a certain image for the band? Were you an image-conscious band?
Not really. It didn't enter our heads. All we wanted to do was just be in a band and sing decent songs. The Everly Brothers were a big influence on us. Sing good songs. We started writing a few things together, and just basically work, and hopefully in time get a recording deal, which we did.
Now, the songs of Greenaway and Cooker are synonymous with you. How were their material brought to you? How did you come across them?
We were just we were in Denmark Street, which is in London. It's like a tin pan alley, and we were looking for songs, because we'd had 4 songs out on Decca, which had done absolutely nothing, and we just happened to walk into a publisher's, Mills Music it was, and just picked up a demo that was lying on the shelf, and it was You've Got Your Troubles, and that's how we came across that song. And it was our first hit, obviously, and it was also the first hit for Greenaway and Cook. Pure luck, basically, John.
Yeah. Were you confident when you heard the finished product of that song that you had something special on your hands? Was the hit potential of it evident to you straight away?
No. It's a very... I think if you can judge a hit, then I think you'd be the richest person in the world. But we thought we'd done a good version of it, and we liked it, but we didn't know what was in store for it, because it was a massive hit all over the world.
Yeah. I always felt the Fortunes had a more sophisticated sound than a lot of their contemporaries. Was that something you set out to do in the studio? Were your production values pretty high?
that was what the producer suggested, that we get in, brass strings and, the kitchen sink basically. And of course, then we had Les Reed, who did the music for it, for the strings and the brass. And of course, the next one after You've Got Your Troubles was Here It Comes Again, which was written by Barry Mason and Les Reed.
The band's harmonies were always a key feature of its sound. What to you was the secret to achieving those harmonies?
Well, as I say, Barry and myself used to love the Everly Brothers. We loved them, still do. Great songs, and I think that just got into our heads, and that's what we wanted to do, sort of do 2-part harmony first of all, and then when we got somebody else in, do 3-part harmonies. We always enjoyed doing it, still do as well.
How well was the band received in America? Was the US a focus for you?
Yeah, we did well in America, yeah. We had a couple of very big hits in America. We went over there in end of 65. We were there about 6 weeks, I suppose. Did the Murray the K show in New York for 10 days. And then went over to the West Coast, did a few TVs over there. It was a good trip. Didn't make any money, mind you. It was just a promotional thing, but it was a good trip, and it stood us in good stead, I think, for later years, because we had 1 or 2 more hits over there.
Now, was it true that the band got caught up in a little bit of a controversy regarding session players being used on some of your hits rather than the band?
Session players were used. I mean, I haven't denied that. We played on some of the records, but where strings and brass was involved, it was just so much easier for the arranger, for say like Les Reed, to put all the dots and the music dots down for the whole orchestra. Because if he didn't, we'd have had to gone in at a separate time and learnt all the parts that he'd written. So it was much, much easier.
Now, I guess a major turning point in the life of the band was tragic circumstances in which you lost your manager in 1966. Can you talk us through that?
Oh yeah, well, Reg Carl was our manager. We were living at his mansion, as I said earlier, but and he started this pirate radio station off the coast of Kent. There already was a radio station called Caroline. But to cut a long story short, they fell out with each other, and Reg went round to the fella's house to have some sort of an argument with him, and the fella just shot him dead with a shotgun, and that was it, basically.
What sort of effect did that have on the band at the time? How long did it take for the band to recover and get back on track again?
It was obviously a massive shock, but
yeah.
We had to carry. We were contracted to do loads of work all over the world, and we just had to carry on. And our agent took over the management part as well. So I mean, we just carried on as we had before, just with a different manager.
Let's talk about your involvement in the Coca-Cola advertisements. How did that come to be, and what did that do for the profile of the band?
Coca-Cola was great for us because it was Greenaway and Cook, You've Got Your Troubles, they wrote it, and Coca-Cola loved that. They loved the song, so they wanted to get everybody that was involved in the making of that record, get them involved into the Coca-Cola adverts, and that's what we did. We worked for Coca-Cola probably for about 7 years, doing jingles and even a film, and they were great. I mean, Coca-Cola were worth a couple of hit records to us.
It didn't sidetrack the band at all away from its...
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. No, because it didn't take forever to do the Coca-Cola things. No, you'd be in and out basically in a few days.
I guess so, yeah. Now, music started going through some great changes in the late 60s. The psychedelic era came in, and were you caught up in a dilemma at all at that time, whether to change with the changing musical climate or continue on with your known formula?
We I suppose we did get involved slightly, clothes-wise. We'd done one or two records as well that you could say they were sort of flower powerish, I don't know. But we got involved with Glyn Johns, who, well, he went on later to do a few of the Eagles tracks, but we did some songs with Glyn, and they were good. They didn't sell, but they were pretty good. And then we went on to got involved with Mike Darbo, who was with Manfred Mann, and he produced a song for us called Seasons in the Sun, and it was a big hit in Europe, in Holland, Belgium, the Benelux countries. And then, but sadly for us, about 5 years after that, Terry Jacks went and recorded it and had a number one hit all over the world.
Yeah.
Which we were a bit fed up about, but there you go, that's the business, isn't it?
That's right. Tell us about the move to Capitol Records. How did that come about?
Well, we fell out with Decca, and I think we moved to United Artists, that's right, because Seasons in the Sun we did was with United Artists. From UA we went to Capitol. I don't know, we were just looking for better deals and people that were going to maybe invest a little bit more in us advertising and pushing records, etc. So it was our manager, it was all down to our manager. We left UA and went to Capitol, and that's where we started having some more success.
That's right, you got a new lease of life at this time and a return to the charts. Had you by this time all but conceded your hit single days were over? I
suppose we thought maybe they were. As long as you're recording, you've always got a chance. So we went with Capitol, and we teamed up with Cook and Greenaway again. And Roger Cook was producing us then. He started to produce us. And, we had a few hit records with Capitol. More importantly, in America as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fortunes of today. To what extent is the band playing these days? How much of the year would you spend on the road there?
We're working, I think we're probably working as much as most of the 60s or 70s bands. We get our fair share, We're quite happy with that. I don't want to be working 5 or 6 nights a week anymore anyway. Because the one thing now, it gets difficult. I find it difficult travelling, but it is. That's the hard part. Going on stage is very easy now, but it's the travelling that gets you down. But we still enjoy it. We still enjoy going to different parts of the. In fact, hopefully we can get back into Australia. When was that? I'm trying to think the last time we were over there. Probably about 4 years ago, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We were over with Marmalade, so it was and that was a good trip. In fact, we came down to Melbourne. We didn't work in Melbourne, but we had a couple of days in Melbourne. It was very nice, yeah. Very, very nice place. First time I've ever been there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember you being here. So you did the Sydney clubs, did you?
That's right. Yeah, we didn't gig at all in Melbourne. But what a lovely place, yeah.
So what's the lineup of the band today?
There's myself, there's... when Barry died in 99, we got hold of a fella called Bob Jackson, who used to be with Badfinger, who themselves had some very good hits. Yeah. So there's Bob on keyboards, Michael Slithen on guitar, and Paul Hooper on drums. We've been as we are for 20-odd years, except for Bob, who came in when Barry died. But we haven't changed that much in the last 20-odd years.
So, apart from experience, of course, what other qualities do you think the current version of the Fortunes have that perhaps you didn't have back in the old days?
Still concentrate on the vocals. I think the vocals are good. Obviously, we stick now 1 or 2 Badfinger songs in because of Bob being in the band. And instrumentally, I think we're a lot better. They're good players, Mick's a good guitarist, Paul's a good drummer, Bob's a real cracking keyboard player, so I won't say too much about the bass playing, but it does the job.
And you're mixing some new material in these days?
Yeah, we do. We like to put in we like to put in songs that, obviously we do all our hits anyway, yeah?
Yeah.
We put in songs, God, all sorts of different songs. We'll try them out. I mean, if they don't go down with the audience, then we'll immediately drop them. But we like to try and put one or two different things in, you know. We do, I don't know, slow songs, up-tempo stuff. Songs like The Rose, and we've been doing that for quite a number of years now, before Westlife got hold of it. All different stuff. Stuff. Yeah.
Looking back over the back catalogue, which of the hits are you most proud of today? Which one still holds up for you after all these years?
I suppose you've got to say You've Got Your Troubles, but my favourite really is Here Comes That Rainy Day Feeling Again, which was never a hit in the UK.
Wasn't it?
No, couldn't get it off the ground. It was a hit in America.
Yeah.
When it went in America, they tried releasing it again in the UK, but no, they wouldn't have it. They wouldn't buy it over here.
It was certainly a hit down here.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good record. Yeah, good record, that.
Any new studio recording plans on the horizon?
We keep going into the studio and we do flog things over the internet, you know, records over the internet. We normally go in and put some new tracks down. We probably will do in the next few months, just so that we can move them out over the internet from the website.
Yeah. And just to finish up, right, when it's all said and done, how would you like to see the Fortunes remembered?
I'd like to see them remembered for being a good live band and people going to see us and getting value for money.
That sums it up beautifully.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time, Rod. It's been a treat catching up with you. I hope next time you do come down to Australia, you do find a few venues to play down here in Melbourne. That'd be great to see you.
That'd be lovely. Be lovely, John. Yeah.
All the best. Thanks again.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.